For centuries, we believed we knew the timeline of human civilization, that the rise of agriculture around 10,000 years ago slowly gave birth to simple villages, then cities, and eventually the complex societies we recognize today. But what if that story is incomplete? What if a far older, more sophisticated civilization once thrived, one that vanished in a great cataclysm, leaving behind only whispers in ancient texts and ruins that defy explanation? This idea, once dismissed as pseudoscience, has been gaining traction, fueled by a series of mysterious archaeological discoveries that suggest our ancestors may have been far more advanced than we ever imagined. And at the center of this historical storm is a lonely hilltop in southeastern Turkey. In 1994, a Kurdish shepherd tending his flock in the rolling, dusty hills outside the city of Şanlıurfa noticed something strange protruding from the ground. It appeared to be a stone, but not a natural one. It had smooth edges, sharp corners, and strange carvings. His discovery led to one of the most profound archaeological excavations of the modern era, Göbekli Tepe. Excavations revealed a site unlike anything seen before. Massive T-shaped limestone pillars, each up to 19 feet tall and weighing between 10 and 20 tons, arranged in circular enclosures. These monoliths were carved with reliefs of animals, some recognizable, like foxes and snakes, others bizarre and possibly mythical. But the most astonishing revelation? Carbon dating confirmed the site was over 12,000 years old, predating Stonehenge by 6,000 years, and the pyramids of Giza by nearly 7,000. In fact, Göbekli Tepe dates back to the end of the last ice age, a time when, according to mainstream history, humans were still primitive hunter-gatherers. And yet, someone had designed and constructed a megalithic temple complex that required advanced planning, tools, labor coordination, and astronomical alignment. Archaeologist Paul Bond called it the most important archaeological site in the world because it shattered the established belief that organized religion and monumental architecture only developed after agriculture. But Göbekli Tepe throws that theory upside down. Why build such massive ceremonial structures before inventing the wheel or farming? Where did the knowledge come from? And why was the entire site deliberately buried around 8000 BCE, preserved for millennia beneath layers of sediment? Some scholars argue this could only have been achieved by a lost civilization with knowledge far beyond their time, or perhaps not entirely of this world. This is where the controversial yet fascinating ancient astronaut theory steps in. According to theorists like David Childress, ancient civilizations may have had contact with extraterrestrial beings, visitors from the stars who shared their knowledge with humanity before vanishing again. Could Göbekli Tepe be evidence of such contact? The lack of tools, the sudden leap in architectural sophistication, the astronomical alignments of the site, all hint at knowledge not yet accounted for in human history. And Göbekli Tepe is just the beginning. Half a world away, high in the Andes Mountains of Peru, another ancient mystery stands untouched by time. Towering over the city of Cusco, the ancient capital of the Inca Empire, lies Sacsayhuaman, a fortress built from stones so massive that they dwarf modern construction equipment. The walls are composed of interlocking polygonal stones, some weighing over 120 tons, so precisely cut and fitted together that even a razor blade cannot slip between them. The stones were not held by mortar, yet they have withstood countless earthquakes that reduced colonial buildings to rubble. How did the Inca, who lacked iron tools, the wheel, and pack animals, achieve this? Here's the twist. Even the Inca admitted they did not build the fortress. According to Incan legends, the site was constructed by a race of divine beings under the command of a god named Viracocha, who descended from the heavens and taught humanity the foundations of civilization. Viracocha, according to the myths, was tall, pale-skinned, with flowing white hair and a beard, an appearance that sharply contrasted with the local population. Could this be just myth, or a preserved memory of an ancient extraterrestrial presence? Some researchers suggest a two-phase construction theory, that the megalithic base was built thousands of years before the Inca, and that the Inca only built atop these foundations. This idea is supported by the stark difference in construction styles between the massive, tight-fitting base stones and the smaller, cruder stonework above. Just as at Göbekli Tepe, the original builders remain unidentified. And again, the question echoes: who were they? Where did they go? Now, we move to the remote island of Pohnpei, hidden within the vast emptiness of the Pacific Ocean. Here lies a ruin so unusual that even early European explorers struggled to believe what they were seeing. Known as Nan Madol, the site has been dubbed the Venice of the Pacific, and it's easy to see why. Spread across over 11 square miles, Nan Madol consists of over 100 man-made islets, interconnected by canals, all built atop a submerged coral reef. The structures themselves are made of basalt columns, stacked to form walls and platforms. Some of these stones weigh as much as 50 tons, and yet there is no written record, no documented tools, no trace of how they were transported or raised. Nan Madol is surrounded by mystery. The island is over 600 miles from the nearest major landmass, with no evidence of advanced seafaring or infrastructure. And despite its massive scale, the purpose of the city remains unknown. Mainstream historians attribute the site to the Sotalur dynasty, which supposedly ruled the region from around 1100 to 1600 AD. But even this attribution is debated. Some believe the dynasty merely inhabited a structure that was already ancient by the time they arrived. There are no texts, no blueprints, and no mythology detailed enough to explain its construction. Only silent stones, rising out of the water like a dream forgotten by time. Could Nan Madol be another relic of the same lost civilization that built Göbekli Tepe and Sacsayhuaman? When we look at these sites together, Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, Sacsayhuaman in Peru, Nan Madol in Micronesia, a pattern emerges. Monumental stonework, impossible engineering, sudden appearances, no tools, no writing, and no explanation. Each site suggests the presence of knowledge and technology thousands of years ahead of its time. Even more intriguingly, many of these structures are aligned to astronomical features. Göbekli Tepe's enclosures may have celestial alignments to constellations. The Sphinx in Egypt, according to geologist Robert Schoch, shows water erosion that could push its construction date back to 12,000 years ago, aligning it with the constellation Leo. And in the Pacific, ancient Polynesians navigated thousands of miles using stellar maps, an astronomical skill with no clear origin. Could these shared alignments be evidence of a common source of knowledge, a global, pre-cataclysmic civilization that spread its wisdom across the earth? Many ancient cultures speak of a great flood, a divine punishment, or a world-ending disaster that erased a golden age. From Noah's Ark to the Epic of Gilgamesh, from Hopi legends to Hindu scriptures, the story is the same. The gods came, gave knowledge, and then a flood wiped everything away. Perhaps these myths aren't myths at all, but memories, fragmented through time. What remains today are only questions. Why were sites like Göbekli Tepe deliberately buried? Was it to protect them? To preserve them? Or was it an act of ritual closure? Why did the builders of Nan Madol and Sacsayhuaman leave no trace of themselves? No inscriptions, no writings, no tools, just stone structures that resist the ravages of time. Mainstream archaeology often explains these mysteries away as the result of unknown methods, lost oral traditions, or mere coincidence. But as the evidence piles up, more and more people are beginning to ask, what if we're wrong about human history? Could there have been a forgotten epoch of human achievement? A time when humans, perhaps aided by something or someone beyond this world, built wonders that we still struggle to replicate. Are we truly the most advanced version of civilization Earth has ever seen? Or just the latest chapter in a story that stretches far deeper into the past than we realize? One thing is certain: the history we are taught is only part of the story. Each monolith, each fortress, each submerged city whispers of a time long ago, when humanity, or something like it, walked a different path. Whether these mysteries point to advanced ancient humans, lost civilizations, or beings from beyond the stars remains an open question. But as excavation continues, as technology allows us to scan deeper and more precisely than ever before, the truth may finally emerge from the shadows. Perhaps someday we'll no longer have to speculate. Until then, the stones wait, and they are speaking if we're ready to listen.